think the Dublin cycling campaign, do you want to respond to that?
Yeah, we're aware of lots of commentary about some of the details that we put forward in the proposals. And the key point I would make on that is all that we've put out there are concept designs at this stage. They are concept designs. It's the first step in a long process before you end up with a finally designed route where everything is honed to its nth degree. So at in terms of the standards we're using, we're the people who produce the National Cycle Manual, which I think the cycling groups would recognise is a very solid, well thought through standard. So we'll be applying that in the detailed design we do in all these corridors, and as we evolve through the design process, most of the issues that people are identifying now, we'll see them being resolved. But when we're trying to do 200 kilometres of design, 230 kilometres of design, which we are at the moment, it is concept level only, and the final engineering details in its fine-tuned form, we'll get them right at the next stage. And I know in particular there was 2 items mentioned, I think it was by Deputy Ryan there, which was details at junctions and details around bus stops. And both of those fall into that category. Certainly the first one, junctions, it's really at the next stage. We've honed those to get them as good as they can be. Details at bus stops, that's more difficult. You have two solutions there, and sometimes we don't have the space to do the perfect solution, which is bring the cycle route around the back of the bus stop, which I know most people would favour. If we have the space, we try and do it. If we don't have the space, we haven't. Again, it's an area we'll fine-tune at the next stage of the process.
I can just check just on that, Victor, if I can. And this isn't easy, but we've got to do it quickly. But the fear from the cycling community is that the concept seems to be, when we come to get difficult pitch points, the first response, the concept, is to get the cyclists out of the road. And I'll cite the one, and this is only just on, it was released yesterday on one of the cycling websites, the initial drafts for Rathmines Road, just to take that as an example. Rathmines, I think the AM peak cycling numbers is 1,650 or so. It's about 1,300 cars and vans. So actually cycling is the main, buses and probably maybe have large numbers, but certainly compared to cars, cycling is the much bigger mode. Yet the first response in terms of getting this 4-lane solution in everywhere is to, as I said, narrow the footpaths in Rathmines and remove the cyclists, and remove them in a way that's just unworkable. And would see so the concern is that the first concept design seems to be to think cyclists out, and that's the worry.
Can I? Yeah.
We haven't published anything for the Rathfarnham to city centre corridor yet, so we're not commenting on anything that people might have seen anywhere at this stage. But if I take the previous example you have mentioned, which was Fairview, you can take it, we looked at loads of options to try and put in a continuous cycle route down Malahide Road all the way to join Fairview. And we believe that there are disadvantages to all the other ones, and the one that we put forward, which is to reroute that section through the quiet roads of Marino, have a toucan crossing on Fairview to connect back onto cycle route, is a reasonable solution. One of the solutions we looked at, which was to widen further the road out, which would have meant we would have had to go further into people's properties on one side of the road, to the point we would have removed the opportunity for parking in the driveways, which they all currently do. And we've tried to, when we're widening, we've tried to preserve as far as we can the opportunity to park a car in the driveway if that's what people were doing beforehand. But this is a consultation. If people think we've got it wrong and think we should go to another solution, then by all means they need to propose it. They need to tell us that, but they need to propose what the solution is. What is the alternative they'd like us to do there? And perhaps we should, we will look at it, and perhaps we should go that direction. But we didn't take these decisions lightly. You can take it, there's a lot of work gone into each of these decisions before we came up with what we put out there.